Alright, so I read The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. Okay, so in this part of the discussion, we were talking about the symbolism of the turtle in the book. Um, I thought that it was basically just the turtle was a symbolism of how slow things were in the 1930s, like the economy with the Great Depression. Well, my mom thought that it was kind of a symbolism of the Jodes, and how hard their life was, and the turtle was like struggling, um, to flip over. So I guess both answers are right, because they can both represent something different. So that's kind of what I think about that section. What symbolism does the turtle have in the beginning of the story? Um, to me, the symbolism of the turtle is that it's moving slow, kind of like everything in the 1930s did with the Great Depression and which is the economy.
Okay, and I think the turtle is a symbol of the Jode family, that they are determined, won't give up. And I think the remember when the woman swerves to try to avoid the turtle and then the guy tries to run it over? I kind of look at the guy that tried to run the turtle over as the wealthy landowners in California.
In this part of the discussion, we talked about Jim Casey and the effect that he had on the book. Um, I thought that he just kind of provided faith for the family. I don't really think he did that much on the book besides provide faith, but my mom thought that he was one of the stronger characters. Her point didn't really change my perception on him at all, so that's kind of what I took away from this part of the discussion. Is what role does Jim Casey play in the book? I think that he basically provides faith for the family throughout it to help them get through the hard times, help them travel through all the floods, and help them with all that kind of stuff.
Okay, and I think Jim Cassie or Casey, I actually think he's probably, aside from Tom, is the strongest character in the book as far as leading people and changing the way they think about life, period.
Alright, so in this part of the discussion, we were talking about how the woman took over the family. I thought that the men were just kind of getting lazier and not doing as much as they should have been. But my mom kind of thought that the men weren't as emotionally strong as women were. I can kind of see that because a lot of guys kind of have hotheads and just kind of get really mad really fast compared to a woman where they kind of like try to solve the issue in a different way. So I guess kind of now I think that that's kind of why the woman did take over and the men lost their privilege of leading the family. Why did the men start out in charge and the women finish in charge? Well, it's tradition to have the men in charge, but throughout the book, it gets harder and the men get lazier, and the women have to take over to secure the family as one and to basically keep them together.
Okay, and I think being a woman, um, women emotionally, I think, are a lot of times stronger, and I think that might have to do with the fact that we're the ones that have the children, and there's such a strong bond with a mother and a child. I just think women a lot of times in certain situations are just stronger, not physically but emotionally stronger.
Alright, so in this part of the discussion, we're talking about how Grandpa didn't want to leave the family land in Oklahoma, and I thought that he just loved the land a lot and didn't want to go. My mom thought that he was just kind of an old man, and old people don't really like to leave their homes. So I guess that's we're kind of on the same page where he just loved the land so much I didn't want to leave, and that old people don't really want to leave their home. Grandpa not wanting to go to California, I think it's basically because he loves his land and that he's lived there throughout his entire life, and that's provided him for his entire life, and he doesn't want to leave. He wants to protect his land and try to take it from the bank again.
I think Grandpa is an old man, and a lot of old people don't want to leave their homes and relocate. They're familiar with it. Um, and I think they kind of revert to being childlike, and children don't really like little children really don't like a lot of change. And so, yeah, I think Grandpa loves the land and he worked hard and he just doesn't want to relocate. He doesn't want change.
Alright, so in this part of the discussion, we were talking about are the droughts and the floods connected in any way? And I didn't think that they were connected in any way. I just thought that Steinbeck was doing it as an emphasis of how hard their life was. My mom thought that they were connected a lot, which are the haves and the have-nots. And I see where she's coming from. So I guess they kind of are connected, but I don't think they really are as much as um, she thinks they are. So, droughts and the flood connected in a way, or is Steinbeck just showing us as a point of how hard their life is? I don't really think they're connected because I think I don't think they're connected because there's two different parts of the country, and um, the droughts happen in like the Midwest, and the floods happen in California, and that's kind of the opposite of how it is today. But I just think that Steinbeck's showing it as an emphasis of trying to make their life as hard as possible for the book.
Okay, and I think they're very connected. Um, Again, I think it's one extreme or the other. And I think it's kind of showing the haves and the have nots via nature. Um, I mean, the wealthy landowners are the haves, and the Jodes and the Okies are the have nots. It's always going to be that way, unfortunately. It's that way right now in this country. So I think Steinbeck was very, very political. He grew up in California. He saw a lot of this, and yeah, I think they're very connected. I think that it's the haves and the have-nots, the water and not having water.
All right. All right. So in this part of the discussion, we were talking about why were the people in California so prejudiced against the Jodes. I thought they were prejudiced against the Jodes because the Jodes were basically forced to go out there for working to get money. Compared to a lot of the other people in California who were out there because they were trying to find a place to get more money, basically. Um, my mom thought that the people were just prejudiced against the Joes because people are prejudiced based off a lot of things, including like social class, and it's not just race. So I guess both answers are kind of right because it never said specifically in the book. But I guess that I kind of agree with her too. Why do you think that the people in California are prejudiced against the Joes because of them being in a lower class? I think it's because a lot of people who went to California might be a little wealthier than what the Jodes are. Like they chose to go out there compared to the Jodes who were basically forced for work. Because people went out there the wealthy people went out there to try to find gold. So they already had some sort of backing with money compared to the Jodes who they had no backing and they were out there picking crops. So I think it's just because of how the Jodes had to go out there by themselves without choosing, they're forced to. The other people chose to try to get really rich. So
Okay, I think that this is a problem that's always going to exist. There are people that are prejudiced, whether it's the color of your skin, whether it's your socioeconomic situation. They're just people that think they're better than other people, and it's always going to be that way. I mean, people say the class structure in this country is gone. It's not gone. There's still people that think they're better because they have money or they're born into a certain family. So I just think that's the way it's human nature, unfortunately.
all right, so in this part of the discussion, we were talking about what Rosa Sharon did at the end of the book to save the man's life. I thought that it was a wonderful act of kindness, disturbing and desperate. Just because of what she did, and it's not something you hear about every day. My mom thought that it was just purely a wonderful act of kindness because she did save the man's life. So I can kind of see where she's coming from, but I guess I kind of still think that all three are more right than just a wonderful act of kindness. Do you find at the end of the novel with Rosa Sharon? Did you find the end of the novel with Rosa Sharon doing what she did disturbing, desperate, or a wonderful act of kindness? I think it was all the above because somebody needed it, so she helped. Um, but it's kind of weird too at the same time.
Particularly for a 15-year-old boy. Yes. I read this book in high school, and for whatever reason, that ending I had forgotten about, and I'm thinking I didn't maybe understand it at the time. So, as a 15-year-old girl, that probably would have been disturbing to me. As a 53-year-old woman, not so much. I thought it was wonderful, and I thought that all Ma needed to do was make eye contact with Rose of Sharon, and she knew what she meant. And they all left the barn, and she fed the man. So I actually thought it was a wonderful act of kindness.